Hello, today I'm going to do a book and movie review of The Picture of Dorien Grey by Oscar Wilde. This book is a classic, and as you all know, this is about Dorien Grey, and he ends up, has his, his artist, an artist comes and draws him on a painting. And, you know, he's getting his portrait done, and it turns out that Dorien, he wants to stay young forever and never grow old. For that, he will give his soul. And then it goes on from there. This book, I rated a 3 out of 5. I didn't really enjoy this as much as I thought I would. I thought I would love it because, you know, the whole concept, I know of kind of the picture that kind of turns old, and instead of him turning old, it's kind of him being faced with immortality and, you know, sins and stuff like that. But this one wasn't as great as I thought it was, to be honest. There was a lot of, what do you call it? There was a lot of dialogue, like more monologue, like type dialogue than like actual really, really nice dialogue, short and sweet, continuing. There's a lot of long dialogues, and I guess that's because Oscar Wilde has written more plays than actual novels. But I don't know. Yeah, I just didn't like the writing style, and it was too descriptive, almost like in a fantasy book. In a fantasy book, you need to have that description. In horror, you don't need to know what jewelry he is looking at or researching. You just need to know, okay, he's researching about jewelry, and that's about it. Like, that was one of the parts that was like, no way. And so I read this in about like a week. It took me a week to read this. Also, this book has gay tendencies, but not really. Like, I really think that Dorien is straight. He's a straight man. He's not really a gay man in a way. He's a straight man. I think the author is a gay man, obviously, but I don't think Dorien Grey is a gay man. So yeah, Dorien gets in a relationship with like two women, I think, and he has side relationships with women, and, you know, obviously he's a rich man, young man and stuff, very popular. We also have the character of Lord Henry, Lord Harry, who is kind of his influence that gives him to think about his youth and how much he wants to keep his youth. Also, there is the painter, I forgot his name right now, Basil, and the painter is very, like, his close friend in the beginning, and then, yeah, stuff happens. I'm not going to tell you what, like, happens. You're just going to have to read it for yourself, stuff like that. So now on to the movie. The movie Picture in Grey was the 1970 movie, or 77 I think, and it was a TV movie, and it was really good. Like, it was really good. It took away all the stuff in the book that didn't need to be in there, and like made the movie perfect. Now the movie had, what I really liked about the movie is the painting. The portrait is like a full-blown portrait explained in the book. So it was a full-blown portrait in the movie. There was a lot of emphasis on the ring that he wore, because in the book he wears this ring. Yeah, so there was a lot of influence on that too. We also had some of the main characters that were in the book and in the movie. So we have pretty much almost all the characters in the book and in the movie. And then there's different stuff. But the book, the movie, is takes place in his perspective. So he does like kind of tell the story kind of in a way, even though the ending is, yeah, like the ending, I know what the ending is, but even though what happens in the ending, it just seems like, oh, you wouldn't be telling the story because, you know, what happened, no. But anyway, but I really liked that movie. As well, I really liked the actors. They were really, really well done. I think Dorien Grey was probably my favorite actor, and the way they kept him young throughout the movie and changed the makeup and clothes of the other people, that was really interesting. They also put time, like 1991 or 1881, 1810, that kind of stuff, just to progress the time. And because it starts off, yeah, so it starts off really, really early, and then it goes on, and later and later, and he's still looking like he just did when he was 20. So yeah. Other than that, and I really recommend the movie more than the book, because the movie kind of has this creepy ensemble, and there's a couple differences. So now this is where the spoilers are. So if you don't want to know anything about this book and you want to read it for yourself, then click off or whatever, turn this off, pause it, whatever. I'll put a hand up when I'm done, so you will know. So anyway, so the movie has some characters that die. So we have the first character that dies is Basil, and in the book he kills him with a knife. So he like stabs him repeatedly, and he's just crazy. And he asks the doctor, who's a friend of Henry, or Harry. I keep saying Henry, I don't know why. But Harry comes, or not Harry, the doctor comes in, and he's like, oh, I got someone in the top room in the attic, and he's dead. I want you to burn his body, leave no shred of evidence. So he goes downward spiral, obviously, and he's already kind of in this downward spiral, but then he gets lower, and he actually kills his friend, because he looks at the painting and he sees, oh my god, this painting is so horrible. So he like starts killing his friend. Okay, after he kills his friend, in the movie he actually kills his friend with a, what is it called? Candle holder. So he like takes the candle holder and just beats him, and he's still in the attic when he does this. But there's no demising or getting rid of the body process in that area. It doesn't come until later in the movie where he does that, where he kills the sailor in the attic and with the knife and stabs him repeatedly, and then he asks, hey doctor, will you clean up the body? I kind of made a mess. He does kill the doctor in the book, or get rid of him. I think he basically not doctor, but the because the doctor ends up killing himself, but the sailor, I forget his name, he ends up basically I think he ends up like not knowing that was Dorien Grey, because he doesn't like find out that part. Whereas the movie is more like, oh, I found out that you're Dorien Grey, and then he's like, oh shit, and I gotta pay you some money, buy you time, I want a perfect wedding, da da da, and yeah. So it's really very different. And also I believe the girl wasn't like he was alone when he died as well. So in the book, he's alone when he dies because he's like looking at the painting and thinking, oh, this is such a disgrace. I want to just kill myself. But I want the painting to be disappeared. And maybe, just maybe, I did some good so that painting can change. And then he stabs the painting. Instead of like tearing the painting and destroying the painting, he destroys himself. And yeah. And then in the movie, he does the same thing. But of course his wife is there instead of not being there. So yeah. And that's my review. And that is my review of the book and the movie of The Picture of Dorien Grey. And I hope you have a wonderful day, and I'll see you tomorrow with another video. Bye!